Hello guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm at Unix, and today I'm gonna bring you a tutorial on how to attach a natural logs extension. So welcome guys, like my work, comment and share to your friends.
Guys, with me I have some natural logs here, so we are going to do installation. And just to kick off, we are going to begin by sectioning the hair. So we are going to do a clean parting depending on our client's taste. This is starter logs, but we are doing logs extension. So guys, I'm going to take you through the process, so stay locked up to the end. And as you can see, I've already done the parting, so I've left out this portion just for the sake of you guys and our beginners, so that we can part these together and come up with these portions as well. I've been doing a clean parting, as you can have a look. Our parting is very clean. Then we have been positioning our portions in a particular pattern in a way that if you can have a close look, this portion, this part seems to be running all the way from top to the bottom, and this is our center parting. Have a look. That's how you do your parting for easiness whenever you want to style different styles on your client. Have a look on how our lines are running from top to the bottom. Have a look. Top to the bottom, from top to the bottom. Then the lines are still straight all the way to the center. So let's go ahead and part the remaining portion. So just going to identify the center. Now that's our center part. Have a look. And now the line runs from the the crown to the nape area. That looks amazing. Now let's go ahead and draw the portions. Guys, have been adopting a 4-point turn interlocking method just to come up with these kind of portions. So just pick the portion that you have just parted, then kick off by interlocking the hair strands from certain part. Or else, if the hair is not too much kinky, guys, you can just backcomb a little bit to create a stopper at that level. So go ahead and interlock the hair. For the sake of our beginners, let's use hair crochet latch. That's how you do the interlocks. 1, 2, 3, then 4. That's my 4-point turn. All right. Now, after reaching this part, remember now we are going to start at this level. We also need to spread the loose hair strands from the roots along the length of the portion. That way. Why? Because we need to come up with a portion which is somehow smooth. And when we have the loose hair strands, it's simply because during the maintenance process, at times hair strands get broken, and through such hair strands, if are not well managed, they poke out of the main portion. That's giving a frizzy look to the log strands. So let's go ahead and interlock the portion that way, all the way to that area. So that's how you do the 4-point turn. So let's do another portion just for the sake of our beginners all together. This time around, guys, I'm going to adopt a freeform technique. All right. So on this case, my hair is kinky at this level, so I don't have to back comb. Let's begin on the left side. That's my first turn. My second turn, at the center, then at the right side, my third turn, then my fourth turn at the back. Begin at the same side where we had just started. First turn, then let's spread the loose hair strands a little bit so that we can grab the loose hair strands for a neat outcome that way. Then if you reach at a point where that you feel like your fingers can't manage the remaining portion, pick your crochet clutch and do the remaining interlocks that way. Now that's how you do the 4-point turn interlocking method. And in order to manage the frizzy hair, we shall use the instant crochet to manage the frizzy hair. So just stay locked. I'll be showing that as we go on. After grafting the lock strands, we are going to deal with the fringed hair. We have just done a clean parting, and our parting comprises of box-like look. So let's go ahead and attach the lock strands. So I'm just going to attach the lock strands randomly, since now we have just done the parting, and I will be slow on such just for the sake of our beginners. I've just begun by comping this end so that I can come up with loose hair strands in preparation for the grafting part. And then if the loose hair strands at this end are too many, that is, if the volume seems to be, larger, you need to trim the loose hair strands a little bit so that you don't come up with a lump at the point of intersection. So you can go ahead and trim a little bit. Trim some loose hair strands. Then let's attach the lock strand. For more tutorials on this kind of, video, you can choose to visit the channel. We have given many ways on how to attach extensions, but this time around I'm gonna show a simple way that can be adopted by both pro stylists and our beginners. So separate this portion into two. You also separate this portion into two. Then interlace both portions. Now you realize that these endings are from the lock extension, whereas these hair portions are from the part that we are grafting on. That is the hair strands from the scalp. So upon interlacing the hair strands that way, you'll find out that the loose hair strands have overlapped on both sides. Now, through that, we are going to begin the grafting process. And this now ensures that the hair strands get attached to the original lock strand as well as the portion that we are grafting on. And the lock strand will be firmly in place and will be able to remain in place for quite a long time. So I'm using a double hooked crochet hook. And how does the process take place? I understand that we have more tutorials on the channel which are more detailed as pertains to what I'm doing, but just for the sake of our beginners, I can go ahead and give some few tips as pertains to the process. But first and foremost, we can attach this particular lock strand, then I will talk about the process as we graft the second portion. Now I'm using a single hooked crochet tool just to give that finishing kick. Have a look. Then you can try and roughen the point of intersection that way, so that the loose hair strands can be visible. Go ahead and manage the loose hair strands at the point of intersection. Have a look. You can't tell that we haven't done some interlocks at this part. So let's go ahead, smoothen a little bit, just for a neat look. And that's how the lock strand looks like. Just for the sake of our beginners, we can attach another strand altogether. Begin by comping this end so that we can come up with some loose hair strands. At a certain level, then let's go ahead and trim the loose hair strands a little bit that way, so that we can minimize the volume at this point of intersection. Let's go ahead and attach. At this point, you need to separate this part into two, as well as the grafting part. Then interlock both sections that way. Now, after interlocking, you realize that loose hair strands from the lock extension have extended a little bit after the interlocked part of the portion that we are grafting on, as well as the loose hair strands from the interlocked part from the scarf have as well extended to the main lock extension. So let's go ahead and do the grafting. Remember, this is the point of intersection. But to begin with, I'm going to use my double hooked crochet tool. This is my double hooked crochet tool. Let's go ahead. Now, what happens whenever you're doing the crocheting technique is that whenever you push the crochet to and fro, you usually come up with some micro loops. And whenever you push the crochet once more, repeatedly, you end up completing such micro loops by forming additional micro loops as you push the crochet severally. That's what makes the tangling at that particular point in order to come up with a locked portion. That way, have a look. We haven't done it for quite a long time, but the lock strand seems to be in place. Now, what am I going to do? I want to smoothen the interlocked part as well as, reinforcing the point of intersection. So let's begin at the interlocked part. By smoothening the interlocked part, we usually do the crochet movements just to manage the frizzed hair strands as well as loosening the interlocks so that we can come up with a smooth lock strand. By doing so, guys, no one can tell that you haven't done interlocks at that part. Just to give additional tips, whenever you are doing the instant crochet, you usually tilt the lock strand in both clockwise and anti-clockwise movements. Ideally is to tangle the hair more at that particular portion so that the hair can remain like permanently forever. So there are many factors to consider whenever it comes to doing some additional extensions to your hair. One being that you also need to consider the hair texture the hair density as well, elasticity nature of the hair, and the hair color as well. So on my case, the lock strands are well blending with the texture of my client's hair. You also need to be considerate on the volume. The volume of the extensions should as well match the volume of the hair portions that you have just parted. Now that way, guys, you'll be coming up with a ultimate look as your finished product. All right, so guys, let's go ahead and attach the rest of the lock strands. Then I will bring you another section of this hair. I've already done my locks extension, and these are the kind of extensions which I've just used. They are natural locks, and just to give a recap of what I have been doing, I've just left out this portion here so that we can work together as our finishing kick. So having a closer look, can have a look on how the lock strands are blending. No lumps which can be noted. So in order to achieve these kind of results, I'm gonna walk you through. As the finishing kick, we have this portion here. So let's go ahead and attach our natural lock strand at this portion. To begin with, if the hair is not so much kinky, you need to backcomb a little bit at the tip. Why? Why are we backcombing? We are backcombing in order to create a stopper at this point, because we are going to do some interlocks. And how are we going to do the interlocks? Guys, on this particular tutorial, I have been adopting a 4-point turn, unlike other tutorials that we have been giving there before. So let's do the 4-point turn, and I'm going to use my fingers to do the interlocks up to a certain level where I'm going to use my crochet latch. So let's begin. This is my first interlock, my second interlock, my third interlock, which now comes to the right, then to the back, my fourth interlock. Then I begin where I had began there before. So first, second, third, then the fourth interlock. That way, it's just a continuous process. So having reached at that part, you need to pull the hair strands which seems to be lying loose on the scalp surface, so that they can get attached along the lock strand to avoid lots of fringed hair. So let's go ahead and do the final interlocks. Remember guys, I'm doing a 4-point turn. After a certain level, now you can leave your portion at that level. Now, this is the lock strand that we have just created using the 4-point interlocking method. And if you can have a closer look, you realize that we have some, loose hair strands along the lock. So how do we manage this? I'm gonna crochet the fringed hair just a little bit, and as I crochet the fringed hair, I will as well be managing the interlocks to achieve a smooth lock strand which doesn't show interlocks from far. That's how you manage the interlocks, so that you can come up with a lock strand which is
flexible and which is highly manageable. Have a look, guys, how the lock strand now has just come out. Now let's go ahead and attach the lock extension. This is my lock extension, which is a natural lock strand. So on one of the side, it's comped out. So in order to ensure that the lock strand rhymes with the portion that we have just created, we need to to ascertain the size of the lock strand in terms of volume. So let's go ahead and attach the lock strand. Separate your portion into two, then your lock extension into two. Just interlace them that way. Adjust a little bit in order to create some room for the point of intersection. Remember, guys, we don't want to come up with the lump at the point of intersection, and we as well want to come up with the point of intersection which is highly manageable and flexible. That way, let's go ahead now, and we're using the crochet tool, which is 0.5 mm. I'm gonna make some movements to and fro, creating some micro loops that way. Now, just for the sake of our beginners, and guys, kindly consider subscribing to my channel, like my work, comment, and share to your friends. Just to reiterate on the process for the sake of our beginners, what usually happens is that we usually push the crochet inside the hair strands, and whenever you are pulling the crochet backwards, don't let the crochet come out too far. Just maintain the crochet inside the lock strand. As you push it out, don't let the crochet to come out too far from the lock extension, because you might end up breaking the lock strands, that is the hair strands. And whenever you break the hair strands, you'll come up with a weak point of intersection. So push the crochet inside, come out with some loops. You can have a look. These are the loops. And what happens whenever you go back once more, without letting go the loops, you pick additional loops, thereby completing the previous loops. And whenever you complete the previous loops, you come up with a tangled portion, which now ends up being a locked hair strand. That way, it's simple, guys. You tilt the lock strand in both clockwise and clockwise movements as you work backwards. That way, ensure that you push your crochet with minimal tension. Why? In order to avoid breaking the hair strands. And that's the science of doing the crochet. And what makes, or else, guys, what brings about the messy frizzy look is the movements. Whenever the crochet comes out too far, then it leaves behind some fringed look, and some people will go ahead and trim the fringed look, thereby coming up with a weak point of intersection, because the fringiness contains the micro loops. And whenever you cut out the micro loops, then there are no more loops, to complete the sequence. And whenever the sequence is not completed, then your point of intersection becomes very weak. So you need to tangle the hair more at the point of intersection. That way, guys, you can have a look. Our lock strand is already in place and it can't come out. Have a look. Sure. Now, I haven't washed the hair before I began. I chose to wash the hair after completing the extension, in order to have a look on how the hair will behave. So we'll go ahead, guys, wash the lock strands, then we have a look on how the lock strands will behave. Thereafter, I'm going to do the treatment, then interlock my locks as our finishing kick. So
let's go ahead and wash the hair strands. You have just done the wash. You can have a look. My happiness is that all the lock strands have managed to remain in place. Have a look. Now we are going to do the leave-in treatment. It's my leave-in treatment. Then thereafter we'll do the interlocks. After doing the wash, I've just treated the hair, and now I've just gone ahead and did the interlocks just to tighten the roots. Now I'm going to take you through the interlocking part, even though we have some other tutorials on how to do the interlocks. Just need to give you a recap of what I've just been doing. So we begin by identifying where our final interlock was, and having a closer look, our final interlock was at the right side. So what do we do? We can either choose to do a 4-point turn by going, because I used to go a clockwise mode, that is, we can choose to pull the lock strand from underneath that way, just to complete the circuit. Then the final interlock can come at this end. So let's do the final interlock. We do it from this part, that way. Let's do another lock strand quickly. Now our final interlock was from this side, so I'm just gonna do it from this side, then this side. Then I'm not going to do it from back, since it's our final interlock. We need to tighten from the front, so I'm gonna repeat the center part, that way. Now that's how you do the interlocks. We are done, guys. We have just done the interlocks. Now it's always crucial to do a oil application. Why are we doing the oil application? This is to soothe the scalp, to overcertain the leaf as pertains to the interlocks. So let's go ahead and do the oil application. Guys, I'm using Omega 6. This is just a combination of several oils which have got, you know, the best nutrients for the hair and scalp as well. I'm gonna do my hot oil spray. Just to wind up. This is the final outcome, guys. Can have a look. Have a look now our lock strands looks like from the scalp. The parting was well done all the way to the front, and we have just done a simple style. Can have a look on both sides, and this looks amazing, guys. This is wow. This is truly recommendable work. I want to urge you guys to try out the techniques I've just stipulated on the video. So guys, on my closing remarks, I want to invite my very humble model to just say a few remarks as pertains to the experience.
Hi guys, my name is Rispa. I first came across Martin Unix on YouTube. I was looking for someone to do this hairstyle. We set up an appointment, we met up, and it was like meeting an old friend. The hair, it looks very nice. I'm so happy. He helped me and he gave me some tips to maintain my hair in the future. So yeah, I'm very happy. And guys, don't forget to like, share en subscribe. Jongens, kom zeker, maak een afspraak en kom zeker langs.
Thank you guys for watching my tutorial to the end. I hope the tutorial was quite interactive. Kindly consider sharing to your friends, like, comment, and stay locked for more tutorials to come.